This is the most important scene in Arcane Season 2, and you missed it. While I was rewatching Arcane Season 2, I couldn't help but notice this scene right here. As Ambessa and Kate talk about the recent Zon attack conducted by Isha but blamed on Jinx, you can literally see how visibly against Caitlyn is to every move by Ambessa. Before I begin, I want to say that this is important for all the people who thought Caitlyn switches sides because of the word cupcake.
Don't sugarcoat it, cupcake.
Switching sides.
You're not completely right, so watch the rest of the video. Let's begin, and spoiler warning for Arcane Season 2. This scene begins with a short clip of Caitlyn's fireplace. We see this exact fire many times in the show, and yet it symbolizes something different every time. For example, in this scene specifically, Episode 4 Season 2, it symbolizes Caitlyn's will to fight Zon and capture Jinx. Her literal burning hatred that she holds for Jinx. Of course, if you don't remember, Jinx is the reason Caitlyn's mom is dead. In episode 9, we see the same fireplace lit up, but this time it is Vi and Caitlyn's will to live and continue living together in love, despite the setbacks and losses both have faced. So why is the fireplace so important? Because later on in this scene, Ambessa begins to poke the log and create more heat, as she is making the fire stay or grow. She is also manipulating Caitlyn by making her think that she is forgiving Jinx. In fact, she even succeeds at the end and therefore poked Caitlyn's burning log until her fire stayed, if not grew. Now that we've moved on from the fireplace, let's take a look at this part of the scene. Maddie and Caitlyn talk about the possibility of a Jinx copycat, and that Piltover has made Zon desperate. Just as Maddie brings up leaving Ambessa and making peace, the two are interrupted by Ambessa. This reminded me a lot of the devil and angel on your shoulder memes that we would get in cartoons. The angel side in this case is Maddie, who is telling Caitlyn what she also agrees with, to love and forgive Zon while still punishing only one person. Meanwhile, Ambessa is the devil, poking Caitlyn's fire and making her more violent. This duality is what confuses Caitlyn the most throughout the season, and is why Vi was so important to Caitlyn's changing sides.
Don't sugarcoat it, cupcake.
Switching sides.
She needed one more person to tip towards the angel or devil side. However, I see one more hidden detail in this scene. Knowing that Maddie is a double agent for Noxus, it is possible that she was ordered to talk about peace and forgiveness so that Caitlyn never reaches her true potential in the Noxus eyes. See, one thing about Noxus that you may not know is they are all about strength. Not just physical or fighting capabilities, but also intelligence and cunning manipulation. We see this the most with the Black Rose and LeBlanc, but that's another topic for another day. Basically, what I'm saying is that Ambessa wants to make Caitlyn violent and destructive, but not to her potential, so which could possibly damage Ambessa. So she makes Maddie seduce and manipulate Caitlyn on the other side, creating balance. At last, we've reached the best part about this scene, the line of light. In animation, it is important to know that everything has a reason. You don't have to make the light and window curtains create a perfect line like they do right here. This was done on purpose to show you duality. Caitlyn stays on the right side this entire scene, closer to the evidence than the fire, showing she wants to make smart and peaceful moves to get Jinx and not be violent. Ambessa goes directly to the fireplace, symbolizing her wants for violence. Check this out. Notice who goes closest to the line first and who takes their time. This literally shows you the maturity difference in Ambessa and Caitlyn. Kate is rational and hasty, confused and lost. She immediately is about to switch sides. Once Ambessa realizes this, then she starts walking forwards, holding Kate's shoulder and attempts to manipulate her. The question. Caitlyn asks a very powerful question to Ambessa, which I often ask to the world. Why is peace always the justification for violence? I feel like this reminded me of when I was a child, asking my parents or any other adults questions about subjects like God and religious wars. Seeing them run away was always a sign that even they did not believe in forcing someone to convert, but It was just out there into the books, and they had to listen. In this scene, after her question, we see Ambessa completely run away, knowing there is no peace in violence. She knows she has no answer, and so she runs back to the fireplace, poking it for more heat as she changes the topic and tells Caitlyn she is forgiving Jinx, and Ambessa is surprised at her mental strength to do so. This is peak gaslighting. This single-handedly causes Caitlyn to do everything she does after this scene in both acts, because she would hate her peaceful side if that meant killing Jinx. Dodging the question and turning it on to Kate is why Ambessa had control for so long and was such a good villain. There you have it. This is my analysis of the most important scene in Arcane Season 2, as without this scene, we would never truly understand what type of person Caitlyn is, and instead think she's the villain that she is portrayed to be. Thanks for watching, and consider supporting the channel.